They gave themselves a huge raise, and they're making like $15,000-$20,000 a month. So they have no problem with finances. Their bills are paid, even though they don't work right now. They do nothing. The governments are shut down. There's Zoom chatting from time to time, but they tell us we are in this together and we are to obey those tyrannical orders just because they say so, while they do not follow their own restrictions. So what I did, I invited a whole country to participate in a Christmas festival. So when they said and they called us unessential services and they canceled Christmas, I went on TV and I said, I'm canceling you. You are unessential services. The government is unessential services, and we're canceling you. And I invited people to come to the Christmas party. We had thousands of people showing up. We had, Christmas carolers, musicians, speakers. We had AAA stakes, hundreds of gifts for the homeless people, and we had over 100 police officers, 52 police cars in our church, and about 20 cops on bicycles. I end up with 11 COVID tickets and millions of dollars worth of tickets. So that was outdoors. Streetchurch.ca if you want to visit our website and help us out. Streetchurch.ca. And then they started to harass us inside the building. And that's the video you were mentioning before, the one that was, I was told, watched over 1 billion times and was the #1 watched video on earth during the Easter weekend. So what happened was they started to show up in our building, and outside they would block our driveway to the church, preventing parishioners from coming. Can you imagine police force, instead of fighting crime and looking for drug dealers, pedophiles, murderers, they were focused on shutting down churches, blocking the driveway. It took me an hour to fend off those hyenas. They showed up again with the telescopic cameras. They were taking pictures of our wives and children. And if you know anything about Gestapo, SS, Nazis, KGB, the tactics of the communists and fascists were always identical. If they couldn't pressure you, they would start using the family, the children, the wife. We know where your wife works. Look at the pictures. We know where your kids go to school. We can rape your wife. We can rape your children. We can do all kinds of things to them. So behave or else. And that's the tactics that are being used right now in Canada. We know you. We have pictures of your children, of your wives. We're monitoring them. If you don't behave, we'll go after your family. That's why I started to have police and detectives. Detectives, the highest paid police officers, started to show up in my house to intimidate my wife, to intimidate my children. Can you imagine giving me a $50 ticket for not wearing a mask in church? Detectives. Instead of pilot officers or peace officers, they would send detectives. I mean, that's the level of insanity. That's the level of pressure, harassment, and intimidation they're using against Christians right now. Because in the end of the day, it's a tyranny. So it has to be backed by fear. It has to be backed by lies, misinformation, disinformation, more lies, in order to keep the tyranny going. Because a lie cannot stand on its own. It needs to be backed by more lies. Truth. I'm not intimidated by the lies. I can debate anyone. I'm not afraid of the lies, but they are afraid of the truth. Truth is like a pillar that stands on its own. So they showed up at Easter celebration, and that's where I said what I said. I said, you Nazis, you Gestapo, you communist, fascists, psychopaths, get out of this property. They cannot come and intimidate parishioners while they're singing and praying and crying to God. I mean, that's insanity. Even the Russians didn't do stuff like that. I mean, this is crazy. So eventually they come back with warrants, and I was charged with contempt of court. Then they came back with a SWAT team again, anti-terrorist team. And of course, I don't know if you saw it, I was arrested with my brother David in the middle of the busy highway by the anti-terrorists. I have no record of violence. I've never was charged with assault, and they sent anti-terrorists to take me down. Can you imagine the level of corruption in the country when they're using anti-terrorists to take pastors down. The crime, how dare you open the church and how dare you incite people to come to the church?